If you only watched the beginning after the end on YouTube, you've seen maybe 30% of Arthur Leywin's story. The anime stops where the manhwa truly begins. Arthur isn't just a reincarnated genius, he's a dragon, and the Asura who's been hunting his bloodline is older than every god in this world. This is everything the anime hasn't shown you yet. I'm Manhwa ALLE, and we break down the manhwa moments the anime hasn't reached yet. This video is Arthur Leywin's full story so far, from Earth King to Dragon King. If you finished Season 2 of TBATE, you're caught up to the early Academy arc. The manhwa is currently in Season 7. That's roughly 4 entire seasons of content the anime hasn't even started. I'm going to catch you up in under 10 minutes. By the end of this video, you'll know everything the anime hasn't shown you, including the power-up that turns Arthur into something the Asuras have never seen before. Let's get into it. Before Arthur was Arthur, he was King Grey, the most powerful man on Earth, a genetically engineered killer, the leader of a war-torn future, undefeated in single combat, paranoid, lonely, and slowly losing his sanity. His entire life was the war. His entire identity was the war. And then, at the peak of his power, his own people assassinated him. He died alone, betrayed and angry. He had been the strongest. He had still lost. Then he opened his eyes, and he was a baby. He was reborn in Dicathen, a world of magic, dragons, elves, dwarves, and humans living in a continental peace under a council of 3 royal families. His new name was Arthur Leywin. His new parents were 2 adventurers, a swordsman father and a mage mother, who actually loved him. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, Arthur had a family. He was a prodigy from infancy. While other kids learned to walk, he was teaching himself the mana arts. He awakened his mana core at age 3, earlier than anyone in recorded history. By 6, he was strong enough to make A-rank adventurers nervous. Then, deep in the beast glades, something found him. A dying ancient dragon, an Asura named Sylvia, entrusted a small white stone to him with her last breath, beating with mana, reacting to him alone. That stone was an egg, Sylvia's daughter, and when she hatched, Sylvie. The bond between them became the single most important relationship of his second life. Because Sylvie wasn't just a dragon, we'll get to what she actually is, and why a dying Asura chose Arthur, specifically in her last moments. But before that, Arthur's family was attacked. A magical beast horde wiped out his village. Arthur survived, his parents survived, but their old life was gone. They were forced to move to the magic capital Xyras, and Arthur, now a war refugee with a baby dragon, was enrolled in Xyras Academy, where the second half of his story begins. Xyras Academy was supposed to be the safe arc, magic school, friends, tournament fights. The anime ends here, in Season 2, right as the Academy arc starts heating up. What the anime hasn't shown, and what the manhwa builds toward, is what Arthur is actually capable of. The first real signal comes years into the Academy arc. Arthur fights a Stage 6 magical beast, something an adult A-rank adventurer would struggle with. He wins, and his mana core, instead of being depleted, evolves. The white core, the ether-touched core, the first hint that Arthur is not a normal human. Then comes the Sylvie reveal. She's not just a dragon, she's an Indrath clan dragon, born to one of the oldest and most powerful Asura houses in existence. Asuras are the gods of this world, dragons, the makers of magic. Sylvie was placed with Arthur because his soul was already marked, caught and bonded by an Asura at the exact moment he reincarnated, for reasons that won't be explained until much deeper into the manhwa. Arthur isn't human. Arthur is Asura marked. The Academy arc ends, and the continent goes to war. Arthur is 16 years old when it breaks, and that's where the manhwa gives anime fans their payoff. Surrounded, outnumbered, with everything he loves on the line, Arthur unleashes the dragon inside him. Black scales erupt across his body. Dragon claws extend from his hands. His eyes ignite from blue to glowing lavender. Realm Heart. He becomes a dragon warrior who can rip through enchanted steel with his bare hands. This is the Arthur Leywin moment. The version Manhwa readers think of when they hear his name. The version that anime fans haven't seen yet. And it's not even his final form. Not by a long way. Sylvie is at his side. His draconic form is locked in. The continent is about to need every bit of him. The war isn't with another country. It's with another continent. ALLE. ALLE is everything Dicathen isn't. Mass mana culture. Highly stratified. Caste system magic that turns lifelong soldiers into living weapons. The ALLEians worship the Asura Vritra, leader of the Vritra clan, and, in a twist that gets explained much later, Sylvie's biological father, who has spent centuries preparing his people for one purpose: invade Dicathen and harvest what Agrona needs to ascend. Agrona is the antagonist. He's older than every other character in the series, smarter than anyone in any room, and his plan has been running for so long that even his own people don't know what they're really doing. When the war begins, Arthur is on the front lines. So is Tessia Erelith, the elven princess who's been his closest friend since the academy. She's the love interest. She's also being targeted by Agrona for reasons Arthur won't understand until much later. The war goes badly. Dicathen, outnumbered, outmatched in mana, betrayed from within, loses. Tessia is taken. Arthur is presumed dead. But Arthur didn't die. The Asuras pulled him out at the last second, taken to Epheodus, the Asura homeland, hidden from the world. Sylvie is there, and so is Kezes Indrath, head of the Indrath clan, who has secrets of his own about who Arthur really is. Before I get to where the manhwa is right now, hit the subscribe button, because Part 2 is dropping next Sunday. Part 2 covers the secret about Arthur's real heritage that even Sylvie didn't know. Agrona Vritra's family secret that rewrites the entire prophecy, and the Asura War's true victor, which is not who you think. That's Part 2, exclusive to subscribers, dropping next Sunday on the channel. If you want to be there for that, hit subscribe now. I'll wait. Welcome back. The manhwa is currently in Season 7. 3 full seasons past where the anime is. Here's where we are without spoiling the specifics. After Epheodus, Arthur escapes back to Dicathen. He finds the continent occupied by ALLE. His old life, academy friends, his family, his identity as Arthur Leywin is gone. He's living undercover. He's working with the resistance. And he's training in something completely new. Ether arts, the magic of the Asuras, magic Dicathenians literally cannot perform. Tessia is the hardest part. She's been hijacked by an ALLEian soul relic. The girl Arthur loves is, on the surface, gone. Replaced by Cecilia, a woman from Arthur's first life. King Grey's best friend on Earth, reincarnated by Agrona into Tessia's body. The whole emotional core of the manhwa's middle act is Arthur trying to save the woman behind the corruption, while looking at the eyes of someone who knew him in a life he's not supposed to remember. That arc ends in a catastrophic confrontation between Arthur and Cecilia. Arthur loses again, and the manhwa fast forwards. Time skip. Arthur is rebuilding. He's training his ether, and he's preparing for the confrontation that the entire series has been building toward: Agrona, the Asura War, and what Arthur is becoming. Season 7 is that confrontation finally starting. Without spoilers, Arthur is no longer just the strongest human. He's something the Asuras haven't seen before. The manhwa hasn't even peaked yet. If you only watched the anime, you got 30% of Arthur Leywin's story. The other 70% is in the manhwa, and the manhwa hasn't even peaked yet. Subscribe, and Part 2 drops Sunday. This was Manhwa ALLE. See you in Part 2.